We're live.
We're live.
There we go.
We're it. What are you doing?
Just fine. Just checking
That's
some-
not how we start. You don't do things that confuse us all right at the beginning.
Good morning.
Morning. Hello. Welcome to Waffle Time. After a bit of a leave of absence.
Yes, quite a long one.
Yeah. Basically, I'm just gonna say straight up, it's my fault. I got some stuff going on that dragged me away, and Jay gets camera shy by himself.
I just realised that I'm
needs
not that interesting, and me stood here talking about myself and on my own, looking lonely.
Yeah, but that makes it sound like I'm interesting. I'm definitely not. I'm the polar opposite of interest. I just waffle. That's how it ended up being Waffle Time, is because this happens.
Yeah.
Literally, what is happening now happens on Waffle Time. That's like a defect in me.
So now we have a guest.
We got a guest. He has a beard and no hat, which is really odd. So basically, this is Tijs. He's the head judge for head judge last year, head judge this year.
I was
next year.
Next year, I'm not sure. I'll be a judge, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
So yeah.
You like being a judge. You like looking down on people.
Yes.
Literally, because you guys sit quite high, don't you?
Yes.
Oh.
I like critiquing your driving. Yeah.
Especially mine.
Yeah, and mine. Yeah, we love this asshole.
Yeah,
But basically, the main thing for me with Tijs is how much his head has changed since we last saw him.
Do they even recognize me now?
I don't know. That's why
I didn't recognise you at the airport.
Because you might, what you have to do is imagine his eyes and his nose and his mouth were in the same place, but what happened was the top of his head has sunk to the bottom of his head,
Yes. Thanks for
and
that.
the whole sort of balance of. You've basically gone from being an FS chassis to being an RRX. That's what your head's done. You're now rear motored.
So anyway, this is your
Waffle time,
fourth
bitches.
trip here,
Yes.
isn't
Yes. It is. Yeah.
Cool, man.
What,
Good.
fourth year?
Fourth trip.
Fourth trip.
Yeah.
Fourth year.
It's been more than a year though.
I was just thinking in terms of Euros. How many years did you judge?
Hey. Two
Yeah,
so far?
Judged
Three.
I just the first one too a little bit.
Was that with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
2012. Yeah. Long time. Anyway.
was it 2012?
That's 2012. Yeah.
Voice
Really?
went really
Yeah.
high.
I know it's because of me truck and I'm Scouse. I can't help it. It just happens naturally.
It was. Yeah.
2012, mate. That's ages.
I know.
No, it can't be. Must have been 2013.
No, 2012. 2011 was the last.
Oh God, we're
the
old.
last Worlds in Silverstone. Yeah. Silverstone.
Okay. And you've been here now. This is your fourth visit.
Yes.
Why do you keep coming back? What is it, Taj?
Because
Are you attracted to Jay? Is that why you're growing a beard?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And losing his hair.
That's the constant tension
though?
he's under.
Yeah, because it's cool. The track is good. The drivers are good. It's just yeah.
I mean, the one comment, and I know you've got experience because obviously you were there with me.
Mhm.
But the one comment I've got from people who've kind of been around a bit is this is a really near experience to Japan, like in terms of how the circuit feels and how the shop is. Like, it's got a very Japan vibe to it. What's your take on that?
It's not the same, but as far as Europe goes, it's the closest you can get for
Yeah.
sure. It's the only place where you have drivers that are consistently good too, and you actually have some spares in stock for the chassis you're running. Well, if you run MST or overdose anyway.
Yeah, well, it helps. That's what we run.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But I mean, I think the main difference from Japan is you've actually got pit space.
Oh, we had pit space. There was no one there at the tracks when we were there. So.
That's true. The only place we really didn't struggle for pit space was Utah. Actually, thinking about it.
Yeah, but that's good because you were spending a lot of time there.
Yeah, sleeping on a
Yes.
sleeping on a desk.
It's a place to sleep. Yeah.
Talking to you, Tab, David's just said hello from Japan.
Was he in
cool.
Japan?
Is he watching? Or?
I don't know if he's watching, but he said it's good to have it back.
Cool.
So yeah, that's cool. Hopefully
Come
he'll see
on,
this at some point.
what time is that over there? Yeah,
No idea. Like 4 o'clock? Something like that, I think.
in the afternoon.
I think so.
Oh,
What
yeah.
time is it? What time was it? 11,
Yeah.
12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh,
7.
okay, I'm wrong.
It's 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
It's probably at
Oh,
dinner.
man.
then.
Can you imagine if they secretly put us on the big screen at Utah and
Ooh.
we're on that big screen now? That would be funny.
Should we just say
Hello, everybody. Konbanwa. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
anyway? Let's move on. Let's get to some new stuff because it's been a while.
Yeah.
Got
Well,
lots of new
basically,
stuff.
I've not been much. I've been away. I've got stuff going on, and Jay's been man of the fort. So
Yeah. We've got lots of.
I've already said it before, but thank you very much to Jay. 'Cause he's been keeping this shit together and keeping it real in this hood. But basically, a bunch of new stuff has come in since I've been
Edwin is watching.
shuffling around.
Really?
Oh,
Sorry, you replied.
How did he get internet fast enough to stream this?
He's in Japan, dummy.
Yeah, I know.
The internet on your phone is faster than our plugin.
It wasn't when I was there.
Plug in.
That's because you were doing it wrong. It
Anyway,
was like, you know, somebody in an office somewhere was like, "Oh, Gaijin's trying to get on the internet. Let's block him."
Good point. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, hi Edwin. You know, I've been away and a bunch of stuff has come in. So Jay is kind of gonna
we
practically update me on camera.
we have a lot of new stuff. We have little stuff like the XXX IFS kits, which are pretty awesome from what I can work out. I haven't fitted one to mine yet, but
what's the deal with IFS?
IFS is inboard front suspension.
Yeah.
Which is underneath. Can you see it on the camera? Underneath,
Sort of.
on the RRX, I'm running it on that.
Tijs, in the way, man.
And
It's not like I put it there. So
yeah, it works ace.
so just this is for I know what IFS is, but for reference,
Yeah, it basically moves the dampers from
inboard suspension.
upright to a horizontal laid down version. So it basically offers you loads more tuning options, because not only can you can basically tweak the ride height in different ways. You can change the angle of the damper. You can also change the angle of the links. You can change the length of the damper really easy. Like it really has it sort of doubles the number of options you got for tuning. It's really good, and actually it's not too overly complicated. You can obviously get the FXX IFS S version now as well as standard
so it's
version.
plastic basically.
Yeah.
And do we do a set in plastic?
Yeah, we do.
So you can buy, because obviously this is the aluminium version.
Only for the FXX. Not
Only for the
XXX,
FXX.
yeah.
So you can get it for that, but not for everything else.
Yeah.
And in terms of what's in the packet, it is everything barring actual damper
Dampers,
themselves that you should already have.
Basically gives you a new front bulkhead. So as you can see, I mean, the RMX and the RRX have the same front bulkhead essentially in terms of position. So the RMX here has the dampers in this traditional position. But you can see on the RRX that it comes with a smaller bulkhead that you then mount the pivots on.
Yeah.
And on the XXX, it basically mounts behind the steering rack on the screws on the top deck.
And the idea of it is of course, that you get more clearance for your steering, especially with rear-wheel drive. That's a great benefit. But also in terms of what the suspension does, because you're creating a levering point in it, you can run a softer spring and support more weight with it effectively. So you can have a sort of cleaner stroke, and you've got more adjustment over that damper stroke as well by moving it inboard. You're also moving the dampers up, which is a certain amount of weight, so it's going to change your roll center as well. Yeah, you can use that to your advantage. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got one fitted to my XXX at the moment for one reason mostly, is that I've got my XXX running awesome at the moment, and I don't want to change a single thing right now because I'm playing with my other chassis so much. I want one chassis that just drives ace.
I still miss my XXX. I may need to return to the XXX game, but we'll see. Anyway, that's that XXXT IFS.
So more
so what else
related
what
goodies.
else have we got? This
we
is
have
fun because this is like.
You hold them.
What do these do?
These are MS adjustable aluminium damper stays.
Oh, okay.
In all the colours. So that's the front that Mitto has, and that's the rear. Which actually, the rear, not only does it let you adjust stuff, but it also lets you run wide rear mount body posts.
Which is super useful because
standard.
Yeah, so you can just drill the hole and
it also has the narrow as well.
Instead of that thing where you drill the front and then the body's all kinked up and you're trying to drill it and you always drill the holes in the wrong place.
You have the option of running narrow or wide, so you don't have to really your body.
You're not forced to run.
You've got the option. So it's good.
Okay,
it's really good. They're available in red, silver, and blue in front and rear.
And again,
they're sold individly as well because the IFS is coming for the MS in the new year.
Did it say the weight on the back? 40 grams.
Yeah.
So you're adding,
these are 50 the rears.
You're adding weight and you're changing the roll center again. So again, you can use that to your advantage, especially with like the current trend now. Especially in Japan, has been dynamic body roll. Yeah. Flicking the car in and having the car lean over and roll into the drift. So it looks like it's got mass and momentum. Yeah. But obviously, you're putting more physical mass in the weight. But
on that note, we've also had the upper motor mount for the RMX come in.
That's probably worth picking up.
That is super fun. You probably want to turn it the other way so you can see that.
There you go. The motor's up there.
Yeah, it works really well.
Real crazy looking thing.
It's apart from my super long sensor wire. It just works really good.
You didn't actually have to modify your wiring to fit
No,
that
I didn't.
either.
Although because you'd soldered the wires to be super neat, they're quite tight right now because it effectively twists the motor.
They're still super neat though.
They are. Yeah, I just need to get a shorter sensor wire. I wasn't sure if that was going to work for CS, and it works really well for CS, but it's kind of a rear-wheel drive thing.
My
mostly.
OCD wants to change the angle of the wires right now. Can we take a break and I'll just do that?
No, we can't.
But it doesn't just move the motor up, also backwards, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but if,
I
mean, you hold that, you can
forgotten.
feel how much
Yeah.
it wants to dump that down.
Mark Bennett actually told me the percentage shift, and I've forgotten what it is. I think it's 2% more rear weight balance for him.
Literally from bolting it on.
Yeah.
It might only be 2% in weight shift, but in terms of roll center, huge difference.
Yeah.
You know, especially how much do the motors weigh? I've completely forgotten about 100, 120 grams or something.
Something like that. I can't actually remember.
I mean,
to be
that's
perfectly honest.
That is a
It's-
substantial amount of weight.
It's actually really good. Currently, that chassis drives like ass because I've messed my settings up. But it was driving really good, and I made a tweak that I thought would make it even better, but it's gone too far now, so I've got to dial it back a bit. But it's super cool because it's really easy to drift at low speeds, and then when you do the snap, you've got so much traction.
It just
it's
keeps
ridiculous.
going. I did get to do a couple of laps on it, and it was you can really feel that dynamic movement in the back, which is super cool. I mean, you've even got added weight on the back as well. So
yeah, that again is part of the testing, just getting used to it. I haven't done that many laps with that chassis, but because as you can see, I basically switched from using the purple RMX to using the silver one for my extra CS chassis.
Incidentally, information about Jay. Every time you say my chassis drives like ass is when I know you're working on stuff. If you ever when you say my chassis drives real good, I drive it. It always drives like ass. But when you're working on it and developing it, you go through. Jay literally just. Jay isn't a driver. He's a fiddler. He likes fiddling with stuff and just tweaking stuff all the time. And Jay he goes through some funny stages. So you know, relative to someone else, if you look at his Triple X, and you can see the caster and the kingpin inclination on that, the wheels are kicked right over. You are a super Onican monster, aren't you?
That's the way, man. Got to go back to the 275 dip days.
Yeah,
42 degrees of caster.
What was what was the dude who had the gold?
I forget his name.
Yeah,
Reverse DRB.
DRB, yeah.
Taguchi
Yeah,
Racing?
it was. Yeah,
Taguchi. Remember his?
Yeah, they were almost laying flat.
That was crazy.
I haven't seen that in so long.
I got to drive that car, and it was. I expected it to really suck. Like I was like, this is gonna be so weird. And in a straight line, it was weird. But as soon as you put it on counter, it just stuck there. You didn't even have to do it. You could have just let go and just done that, and it sort itself out. But there you go. There's a J fact. What else is new?
What else is new? We've got the Accutrons in.
Oh yeah, we got those. I fitted one.
I've fitted one to a couple of chassis.
It's that little thing like there. It's the flux capacitor.
It's a photonic stabilizer.
A what? Who now?
It's one of those weird things that I don't understand the science behind it, but Accuvance assured me it'd work, and it really does.
There's one on there.
Yeah. Basically, what it does is it smooths out the throttle response and actually makes your battery last longer.
I imagine it to work the same as, not that it's relevant to anyone because it's from full-size cars, but a circle earth. So, you know, like HKS circle earth for a real car, where you take all the earthing points over the car and you centralize them back to the battery. So what that does is it creates a constancy.
Yeah.
So if you've got a constant on the earth, it's a stable.
Yeah.
Incidentally,
if you can just hold up my Triple X and RRX so that people can see placement, my RRX has the photonic stabilizer mounted incorrectly, and the Triple X has it mounted correctly. Just so you know, it should be mounted above the battery.
Triple X is above my finger there, and the RX is above.
So on the Triple X, you probably can't see because of the contrast, but it's on the battery strap that goes above the battery.
And why is this?
I don't understand the science, but Accuvance say it has to go there. That's all I know. But actually, if you can actually run more than one as well.
And did they recommend that you attach it to the earth of the ESC or the earth of the battery?
It doesn't actually matter, but ESC is where I'd go.
It matters where you place it, but not where you attach it. Yeah.
But it's something I don't understand any of it because it's sort of trade secret stuff, I guess.
My logic is this:
but,
if it's
but
stable,
basically, a very important thing is if you're going to run more than one, they need to be placed symmetrically on the chassis.
That is weird. Maybe because Akivans Corporation, Keans Corporation, have a lot to do with deionizing as well as optical equipment. So maybe you're creating some sort of ionic field.
I think
So you're getting like ion boost.
I genuinely think there is something to do with that because it matters where it is.
Yeah. No, I mean
they make a huge difference. It's not full of fluid.
This is the thing about Akivans, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they're Keans. Keans is
Huge,
full of incredibly clever engineers that are way more advanced than us dumbasses.
So far, I think they're good. We'll be getting some into stock very soon. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad that I've got one on both chassis that I'm mostly running at the moment.
When I put it on, what I want to do is I want to cut mine off. Actually,
well, actually, they recommend you do this. If you struggle to feel the difference, they recommend you run it for a while and then you take it off. And then you put it back on. But they also, incidentally, it can take several hours to actually feel for the effect to build. So when you first fit it, it doesn't do anything. It takes a few hours to have an effect.
Yeah. It's so weird. Yeah. My logic with where you attach it is that the earthing point for the chassis is on the battery. So I use the same principle as HKS Circle Earth, where you can link everything, but it all goes back to the battery, and that will actually increase the horsepower of your car, bizarrely. So, but then you're getting a cleaner, more precise signal from everything.
So anyway, next product.
Weird.
FXX RTR. It's just off camera that you need to grab.
This one.
Yeah. So we've had these in. I don't know if anyone's seen the video that MST posted, but I'm quite impressed that every single chassis gets tested by MST and gets fully calibrated by MST. So they literally are good to go out of the box.
Yeah. I have an FXXS. I've had one previously, actually, and this is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Gyro's already calibrated.
Out of the box, bang on. Like the settings and everything is absolutely sweet.
Did you
So, one of those for me, like.
Yes. I just wanted to double check. It comes with the new ESC and motor censored.
So
I can't remember if these had the censored or not.
They've stepped up as well.
Yep.
And that is now a vented. Oh, that's completely different.
Yep. It's the newest system.
So I'm going to assume that's slightly more powerful as well.
I think it's a bit smoother.
It's a 21.5 and a 60 amp ESC.
Yeah.
So that should be plenty.
Silky,
really.
man.
Because what that'll do is basically negate the need to spend hours and hours doing settings, because you won't be generating an excess of wheel spin, which makes you slow. But yeah, I mean, that chassis, I've been more than happy with the kind of FXXS.
Yeah.
So I can imagine an RTR, literally if you want to bail in and have a spare chassis, or you want to jump into RC, and just get on the rear wheel drive, like that's probably the easiest way.
Perfect.
What about the gyro?
So gyro is the LSD 2.0
X. Yeah. So that's also the newer one than the normal.
It's the better quality, more accurate one.
I mean, the only step up from that is the RS, where you can adjust it on the controller, but you don't need to do that.
Not especially not if you're starting out. If you're at an RTR level, you don't need that.
No, for sure. So that came in, and currently
you get a free,
I believe we have
a
free diffuser with them.
Yeah.
So when you order one, you get a diffuser. So there's the
and some Haribo
FFXD RTR.
Yeah.
With new electrics and stuff.
And obviously, the cool thing with that is, and the same with the Triple XD RTR, which we're about to talk about. They're both completely upgradable to VIP levels with all the parts that you can see behind us.
There you go. This is Triple XD RTR.
Yep.
And to be fair, I knew these were coming because they've just been sat there the whole time. So this is why I'm not looking surprised at what the parts are.
Yeah. My Triple X started out as a Triple XDS, as I'm sure a lot of you know, and I was super happy with it. I was actually completely blown away with how good they are out of the box, and especially because this is the brushless version, which is 300 quid, but the Triple XDS on its own is just 150 pounds. And for that level, I'd rather take that over most other chassis, even 500 quid chassis.
The thing is, the Triple X is, it's MST's answer to a Yokomo drift package. You put it on the floor and it works, and it'll do amazing stuff. Personally, I think it's better for counter steer than the Yokomo. I think the Yokomo, but that only stands to reason because Yokomo chassis are designed at Yatabe, which is a big, fast circuit. so it's less kind of realism counter steer focused and more sort of crazy high speed Kabashi focused. Although
do you want to know something interesting? Tijs was saying, I can't remember if it was last night or this morning because I was super tired, but he's warming to triple X's now.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Only just? Jesus Christ, man! You
Give it the program.
never let me, never boil a kettle for me. It'll just take too long. Anyway, yeah, triple X's are good.
Yeah.
And
So
if
obviously,
you're gonna start doing RC, get a triple X because
with both of these
anything else is done.
RTRs, they come with a 2.4 gigahertz radio. They come with motor ESC, and yeah, they're just good to go.
What I would
Basically,
say,
need a battery and charger.
a curveball. We haven't got one sat here, but obviously we do the MS
Yeah.
01D RTR. Just for anyone out there that's watching that's kind of new to RC and maybe doesn't know to go belt drive or to go shaft drive, our kind of take on this thing is that if you're somebody who's like an RC guy and you've been doing racing and all that sort of thing, belt drive will probably suit you better. Just the response times from the belt and everything are a little more, well, they're almost a little more forgiving, but it's just smoother, it's cleaner. Whereas the shaft drive is more for people who are kind of mechanically minded. So, if you've been working on full-size cars or you're a full-size car drifter and you've been, taking your prop shaft off your car and, bashing around with heavy-duty stuff and, real cars are a bit clangy, really. Everything's a bit brutal and a bit thumpy and mechanical feeling. And that's what you get from the shaft drive. So if you're like a full-size drifter and, you're coming into RC as a bit of a hobby, then, head towards the shaft drive. And if you're kind of an RC guy that wants to come into RC drifting, belt drive can suit you. But obviously,
a big factor to consider is noise as well.
Yeah.
If you don't like a noisy chassis, belt drive is better. If you don't mind a noisy chassis,
generally, although once you know what you're doing, I mean, the last triple X I built
that triple X is super quiet by comparison.
And you can make them
very. You have to build them well.
The silver one I built didn't make any noise at all, but that comes with time and experience and know what loops to put where and
choice of parts for sure.
Yeah,
steel gears, plastic gears.
Yeah,
makes a big difference.
Noise, like a steel gear, is always going to be noisier, but you can make them reasonably quiet, and you can get like fluorine cones and things like that. But that's a whole other thing. What else is new?
I can't remember. In all honesty, it's been a while since we've done this, so I can't remember where we were. But that's kind of all we're going to talk about in terms of new products today, because we need to get on and talk to Tijs, I think.
Okay, Tijs, you brought your chassis. What do you?
And body.
This is stuck.
It's not.
Oh, it's just really heavy. Is it me or is that really nose heavy?
Not really. Yeah, there's a different bumper on it, so yeah, it could be.
And this
is that Kazama body?
I've added some glue.
Yeah, it's Kazama
JZX
Mark
10,
II.
Yeah.
That is the Mark II, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And
it's completely smashed.
This is about 800 years old, isn't it?
Yeah. I painted it in 2011.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
It's all flaking off. Yeah, really.
All the paint's flaking off and stuff.
That's
what paint is that?
Tamiya. But
really?
It's the Lexon. It's the first batch from Kazama, and the Lexon isn't good, so it just doesn't stick. On the bumper, I peeled it off like it was plasti dip.
And then repainted it.
Yeah,
clearly.
Sanded it, cleaned it.
Man, this has seen some action.
Yeah, it's been places.
What's your favorite sticker?
I wouldn't know.
Is it your Yatabe stickers?
That's actually not from Yatabe. That's Gamescom.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's not a Yokomo body, so I couldn't run it at Yatabe.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'll be honest. My favorite sticker on there is the zero angle bastards.
Really?
Yeah, I just like that because it looks correct. You know what I mean?
True.
The style is legit.
That's true.
So anyway, let's talk about your chassis.
All good.
Yeah, it's more interesting than the body.
I know, man. I know that body.
Everyone knows it.
So what's this junk?
Yeah, it's a bit messy, but
and it was pretty dirty when you got here this morning.
Yeah, I cleaned it, but it's still dirty. Yeah, it's an RMX. It's actually pretty basic still, so there's not many upgrades. But
it's very tidy.
Which upgrades have you gone for already?
I always lose track, honestly.
But you've got aluminium knuckles front and rear.
I have aluminium knuckles. I have the upper arms, or the inner part on the front. I have the steel gears, aluminium CS pulleys.
Yeah.
Spring purchase, springs.
Yeah.
God, what else?
Check.
Spur gear holder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spur holder is on there.
Tilt it so I can see, Mitto.
What's your next plan? Because I'm looking at this going
Adjustable toe strap.
Oh yeah.
curved steering rack.
No.
That's a thing, isn't it? We do that now.
Yeah. Yes, we do that.
No. The first thing I'm gonna put on is the blade for the tensioner of the slide rack, the aluminium one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one isn't that good.
It's really good.
What else? I honestly wouldn't know.
I've already said this to Tijs earlier, but my recommendation is lower arms.
Maybe.
Start with the rears.
Yeah.
Always start with the rears.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just helps. Just gives
Definitely.
you the grips.
I think
And probably the upper arm, other part of the upper arms.
I think I might
it's just
go
handy.
for different damper settings first, so different pistons.
Yeah.
And
I gotta be honest, Taj. For you, this is like I'm wondering where the gold bolts are, and
actually, it does have a few couple little cool things. I dyed all the white plastic parts purple, so that's
All the
different.
inserts and
Yeah.
that's true.
on the
On the ball
adjustable
ends
toe
and the
strap.
knuckles. and
Yeah,
the
I
toe
can
strap,
see
yeah.
that.
I haven't finished
That's
all of them.
fairly recently you did that, wasn't it?
A few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Same.
That's actually come out really well. I mean,
Yeah.
you totally have too much time on your hands, but that's come out really good.
Same with the spur gear. It used to be white, now it's black. I went for purple, but that didn't really work.
And you also have your custom battery holder.
Yes.
What spur is that? Because
It's a pen eraser.
oh, okay. Are they a machined spur gear?
I honestly don't know. I think so, but
I don't know,
But
man.
yeah. Anyway,
I like cast marks or machine marks.
yeah,
Okay.
or just scratches.
Tijs, tell us about the battery holder that you made.
Uh,
There's one by you somewhere as well that you can pick
it's
up.
in the bag here somewhere. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Get up and show people.
You can do it. It's your product.
Tout
Can
your
I
wares.
show it?
Yep.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's a battery mount. If you can see it,
You probably
It's-
have to tilt it up to get the light. Maybe there you go.
is it better? Oh yeah, you can see the print in it.
Yeah.
I just designed it to have a shorty battery mount with where you can have the battery connectors on the front of the battery.
Yeah.
Because if you use the original battery mount or the upgrade, you have to have the batteries to the back of the plugs to the back.
Because the
That's annoying because it goes to the motor
top,
and it's
the top mount is kind of too wide, so it basically covers the plugs if you use.
and you cannot cut it.
Well, you can. It just looks ugly.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I cut
It
mine.
doesn't have the support anymore on the top then.
Yeah.
And I've also noticed that my battery had a lot of play in it, that it could move around.
Mm.
So I added some little braces and changed the dimensions a little bit. But it uses the original battery door. It
Yeah.
fits.
I was just playing with that. It
yeah.
works. It
Yeah,
works.
on that one actually it
perfectly.
doesn't work great because normally it can only rotate 90 degrees. But I broke that one. and I redesigned it, and all the new ones there are good. Or it should be.
That works fine anyway. I mean,
Oh yeah.
the fact that it can rotate 180
It
degrees
gets out of the way
doesn't
even more.
really matter.
Yeah.
Like, it just that's just more out of the way, and it's not like, when it stops there at 90, like that's still something to catch on, but there it's just it's not an
It
issue.
would just be cool to keep the factory
Yeah.
options.
So this one is a nice gift that I have. But you also have some that you're.
Yeah, I brought 3 for those who want one. It fits on the RMX and the RRX. if I'm
Yes.
correct. Yeah.
When are you making one for an overdose?
I don't know.
I'm so bored of those standard battery mounts.
What do you need?
I need overdose to make
For
my
those,
value.
for those that don't know, Tijs works at Shapeways,
Yeah.
so 3D printing is kind of a thing for him.
Yes.
It is. He keeps sending us key rings, which is
Yes,
super awesome.
which
Yeah, there's a bunch in there.
dangle
around.
my.
I also brought a couple of those.
So
Limited stock, so be here
Yes.
fast.
We have a Solar C one. We have a Racket Sideways one and
Zero fuel.
Zero fuel.
you can't see shit, but it's the thought that counts. What's that other one? Oh, weld.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, if you want something, it's pretty easy to design, and you could even do it yourself. Well, maybe.
That'd be ridiculous.
If you have time.
So you can design stuff at home and then send it to Shapeways and they'll make
exactly.
it for you.
Exactly. You just upload a file,
Ship it out.
they print it, they ship it, and you can even sell it on the website if you want.
So since we're doing a plug for your work, like what type of files do you need?
Just random STLs, just any 3D files.
Any 3D files?
I've done it myself. The website works really good. It tells you if there's a problem with the print before it commits to it and sends you a file of blobs.
Can you
Stop turning
send
the phone off?
Yeah. Can you send you guys like a vectored, like a flat image? Just
Not to the shop, but you can to me.
Yeah. The I think these battery battery holders have turned out super nice, but you've done a bit of extra finishing on those. But generally, even the standard is.
This was just a design exercise, just something fun to play
They're cool.
with.
I'm looking forward to getting that fitted. I need to just decide which chassis to put it on now. Anyway,
There's plenty.
back to your chassis. You're running RCIMG servo.
Yes. Yeah, it's brand new purple one.
And motor.
Yeah.
It was
That's the
10.5?
Yeah, but the old one.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the new one to come in.
Yeah.
Haven't tested it yet, but we'll see.
And also an AccuVans Tachon area.
Yeah.
Which is good. And standing capacitor, which is
For now.
But with the brain unit, which is always good.
I still have a weekend here, so
Yes.
who knows?
We can get that fixed.
I know.
And you also need a flux capacitor. That's, I mean, what are they called?
Photonic stabilizer.
Photonic stabilizer.
Accutron. Just remember Accutron.
Just say Accutron.
It sounds like a
Transformers.
Transformer.
Yeah. Like a Gundam.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
You also run an M12, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Somewhere M12, yeah. Same
It's because you have to.
Yeah.
It's that only reasonable choice.
With diamonds and funky wrap.
Exactly. You want to get it? You want to show it off?
No, it's good.
Sure.
People will recognize it for sure.
Yeah, well, it's got that Zilla wrap. Is that Zilla?
No.
Actually,
Actually, it's Easy Made. The Russian guy, Easy Made.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, but that print is
I thought that was an Alexis thing.
Sort of.
sort
No.
of.
Yeah.
That was very diplomatic of you.
It's green. It's not
They
blue.
jack their stuff. yeah, it's easy made. So anyway, let's move on. To
Tijs is here for the competition this weekend.
Tijs is here
It's,
for
the last round of the
competition.
2015 Solar RC Challenge. It's your first one this year, but you did 2 last year?
I did 3 last year.
3 last year.
Yeah.
You were weren't you the highest placed international driver?
Yeah, for sure.
And you won one.
I tried to get into the top 5 for the championship.
you won your ESC, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which is good.
And brain unit and Tau. That was a good price.
That was a good price.
Yeah, since you're here, the first prize is now a bag of crisps.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what we've got, and maybe a twirl.
Because we've got loads of.
No Haribos, no?
No.
No, I've got a banana.
Damn it.
You can have a banana.
But yeah, so I think this weekend's going to be pretty fun. There's a fair few people already booked in. It looks like it'll be good prizes because obviously we cut the prize fund basically when we finish this. So if you haven't booked in, you've got about 15 minutes to book in. But you can book in after that, but it just doesn't make the prize fund any bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
And the line for this course is
fun.
it's tricky.
Yeah.
Because people have been running a flick in the track the whole time, and if you look at the diagram, it says don't flick.
Yeah.
That's the
But
one.
the flick is fun.
The one thing. It is fun, but it's also easier. So
It is.
I think the competition is going to sort of separate the men from the boys a bit because
Yeah.
they're going to go.
Well, I actually also I think this is going to be the one layout we've had this year that I don't think many people are going to predict where the line's going to be because there's so many options to run the line on this, and even like the start finish point, it could be in maybe 5 spots.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. I think there's going to be a few surprise people come tomorrow.
I'm just going to choose to put it in the most torturous place possible. Basically,
Because you're nice like that.
Well, I don't like being a judge, so if I have to be a judge, I'm going to have fun with it. Being a judge is difficult. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Tarish?
Yes. Difficult and
Indeed.
tiring.
And you're not sure if you're going to be a judge this year yet, are you?
I am.
He's a judge, but
Yeah.
not sure if he's
Yeah,
head judge.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
I think that was what we decided on.
So what's the difference? What does the head judge do? The other ones don't.
Tells the other ones to shut up.
Yeah, I guess that. And briefings and stuff like that. I'm not sure.
You did all the briefings last year.
Yeah, because last year I was head judge.
It didn't bloody help, though, did it?
I don't know.
What happened, man? I even stayed
think-
back.
I think it went
I
well.
put my hand up and asked questions like at school and everything.
I
And
think it went well, actually.
it did. It's a hard job. And, I think, it's obviously much easier than when I did it in 2012. But
Yeah, right. Because you only had to judge, what is it, 80 drivers?
No, man. It was
Not over 200
It was, what? 200 drivers? Is that how many you had to do?
this year, yeah.
And-
No,
and-
you had to do 80
No, it
drivers.
was more than that.
No, it was 80.
It was more than that. I remember,
Maybe 85.
but basically I remember in the entirety of the week or the weekend or something, I judged like 1,000
Yeah, I do
battles.
that. I do that in a
And
day.
yeah, exactly. It's like your brain is just so fried.
Yeah.
And yeah.
At the end of
That's
the day,
impossible.
it's just a meltdown. You just
Yeah.
want to sit on the couch and do nothing.
Cry.
Have
Just-
a beer and do
Just
nothing.
cry
sleep.
into your own hands.
Yeah, Oh yeah, sleep.
And then what actually happens is you go home and everyone bitches at you like, oh, what about this? What about this? And you're like, I don't know who I am anymore.
And I'm guessing they ask you about the third run of the day right at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, can you remember this and this run I did? Which one of the 1,000 I've seen?
I can't remember after like 4 runs here.
He always does his best to remember mine because he knows I'll.
Oh yeah,
he did one. I walked straight up and he could tell me exactly where I went wrong.
Yeah, there's a few people I know that will have comments, so I just try to make a mental note here and there.
So basically, with the Maudi bastards, that you just know.
But that's why we get marked down. He's like, oh, these dickheads.
Like we're on minus 30 points before we even start.
I know, man.
That's
brutal. How do you feel about that?
Pretty good.
You're an asshole. What else we got?
We're on to questions, I think.
All right. What?
Are there any questions?
There's a lot of questions.
Already?
I'll check. I shared.
Do you want to read the questions?
No.
You can be the question.
Yeah, you do it.
Just.
Do you want to be the Dutch translator? We should have put you in the corner like a sign language.
Yeah. And don't forget, I lived in Holland. I know all the swear words. I can't say anything useful, apart from ass with pindasaus and stuff. But
the kat zit vast. What was it?
Met kaas zonder snoer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, man, read it. I won't.
But the thing
I can only see Facebook. You can see everything.
Yeah, that's the point. Actually, we have.
While you find those, I'll explain that the kat zit vast. Met kaas zonder snoer. So it basically means the cat is stuck with cheese but no moustache. And what happened is that we were in my buddy's house. Leonard Wanders, who drives the Team Falcon. Don't know if he drives one now, but he certainly was.
I think Monster now.
Maybe Monster. Yeah. I'm not sure. But we were in his house and we were all partaking in what Holland has to offer. It was, we were quite deep into this partation. And we could hear a cat just go, wow. What happened is the cat tried to jump in a window, the little fold-out windows, and it was really high. And what happened was, and the gap was small, so it got half of it in, and then the cat was half in and half out, and it was stuck. And Wanda's with his wife now, but his girlfriend at the time she comes running upstairs, the cat's in fast. And I'm laughing my head off because obviously I was in a bit of a condition, but I knew exactly what it meant for some reason. And Wanders had just been talking about moustaches in Dutch to Olaf Kamaj. I have no idea why he was doing that. So as she ran upstairs going, the I went, met kaas zonder snoer. Like, with cheese, without a moustache. Like, literally, when I did that, we died laughing, and the cat must have been stuck there for like 20 minutes while we were all rolling around on the floor. And obviously, Wanda's wife was going nuts because we were laughing instead of rescuing the cat. And then Wanders goes off and rescues the cat, and you can hear and all this, and he comes back up, and his arms are shredded. That just made it even funnier. So that's the story of that. You should have been there, man. And then we left his bus door open, and what did he say? You left the Bonnibus open. You used to call it the Bonnibus. Yeah, man, that thing was funny.
Anyway, back to RC stuff.
I just needed to fill the time in while we were waiting
waffle
for you.
time, right? So.
Yeah,
I am waffling.
Right, okay. First question from Andrew Hutchinson. What's the ideal weight balance front to back for rear-wheel drive?
Well, that kind of entirely depends on yourself, I believe. Tijs, do you have an answer?
Is there a way to say that? No. It depends on your tires, depends on the track, depends on so many things.
Exactly.
And your preference is the biggest of them all.
And your personal preference.
Generally,
and your chassis.
I think my RRX is probably about 54% rear right now. Gut feeling. I haven't actually weighed it for a while.
Which is interesting because, like, what I'll say is from full-size cars, just because I happen to know the information randomly, KG Suchir and some of the other D1 drivers, they all did a test day, and they reckoned that the best balance for a real drift car was 54% front weight balance, between 52 and 54. So it's interesting that, like, it seems to be that for RC and rear wheel drive, it's the other way. It's almost like a kind of 52 54% rear.
The biggest thing you have to always remember with RC stuff is the tires aren't to scale in terms of friction.
Exactly.
So you have to compensate,
especially in terms of front end grip as well. So but basically personal preference.
Yeah.
And conditions.
I think 50-50 is a good place to start, and you can tweak But it all depends on the chassis you're running. If you're running a front motor, then embrace it. If you're running rear motor, embrace it. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
As long as you can get the chassis to do what you need, that's kind of what you have to do.
Embrace it. That's very
Feels
feels very fulfilling, that sort of statement.
Fabian Boyer has said,
Hey, Fabian.
how does small scrub radius affect the drift of rear-wheel drive?
You're more rear-wheel drive than I am.
The thing with it's kind of with the scrub radius thing, I don't think it's something you need to worry about until you've changed it. Do you not turn it off? But basically, it kind of changes the response on the front end, and it changes how the car tracks, I think. You done much rear-wheel drive driving?
Not much.
No?
At least I haven't set up any car, so.
It won't turn off. Answering.
Smash
What
it.
I've done. I look at it this way, like a wide, big scrub radius, big offsets, big scrub radius, tend to create more kind of, it's easier to gain stability, but you kind of lose a little bit of realism, and the chassis will tend to like hook in and do things in a slightly unpredictable way, because obviously the like the bump steer and things like that are a bit more dramatic. Whereas if you reduce the scrub radius, you tend to you can be more accurate, but it's just harder to get the settings to make it more accurate. So it's but you can create wash understeer with it, which wash understeer on a transition can make you a hell of a lot faster, but it can also make you slower. So it's it's one of those things. I put scrub radius down to feeling rather than tuning, if that makes sense. So it's how it changes the feel of the chassis, because scrub radius and changing the offset of your wheel or putting spaces in your wheel obviously changes scrub radius as well. So I tend to use it as a kind of feeling tool. Do you know what I mean? So I can gauge the feeling of the chassis rather than going, well, the scrub radius needs to be this exactly, because
the thing that people often overlook as well, that with scrub radius is measured to your contact point of your tire.
Yeah.
So your position of your tire on your wheel actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people don't even have the left to right wheel position the same with the tire.
Even though, yeah.
If you look at, I'm guessing if you just straighten up my RRX front wheels, you can see that the FRS,
FRF.
We've been talking about a lot of GT86s. So like you should have the tire positioned where it's meant to be, and those tires are meant to be positioned on the inner edge of the wheel. If you mount them on the outer edge of the wheel, your scrub radius is different.
Yeah.
That changes the way the car drives.
Well, absolutely.
And if they're not the same left to right, your scrub radius is different left to right.
2-3 millimeters difference.
Something like that.
And that's a hell of a lot.
Yeah, but it's the same. And depending on the brand of wheel and things like that, obviously the tires fit differently. And depending, if you run DS racing tires, they tend to be a bit skinnier. And they also, for example, the DS racing tires, because you generally have to boil them to get them on.
Yeah.
You often see people running the tires not even in the same position on the wheel. So
yeah. There's obviously
a lot of people get obsessed with
scrub
scrub
radius
radius.
like that. There's a distortion in it as well.
Well, a lot of people get obsessed with scrub radius, and my opinion is always it's like one of the very finishing touches you have to worry about when you're tuning. If you haven't got the rest right, don't worry about the scrub radius for now. And if you haven't even got your tires right, then just don't even think about scrub radius for now.
Yeah,
it's quite an advanced thing that it's like a feeling thing that you change right at the end of your tuning. It's way down on it's like the 13th step of the 10-step guide.
Yeah, it's like it's a non-end. In fact, do we mention it on the inside guide?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think we even mention it.
We probably should crack on because we've actually got quite a lot of questions. Jonathan's asked, why is my FXXD so noisy? Set in the pinion mesh results in either a screaming noise or it's too loose, essentially. That is a case of getting the mesh right. If it's too loose, it's going to make a horrible noise and drive like crap. If it's too tight, it does the same. The problem you also have with an FXX is it can, when you're first starting out with it, it can be tricky to set because it's on a rotating, not pivot, but you know what I mean. The mount isn't a straight in and out; it's a curve. Yeah. People often set
Is this
them
on
wrong.
an S?
This is on an S. Yeah.
Okay. What I would suggest is make sure you have the metal washers on the motor screws. If you don't have them, the screw heads will bite into the plastic or aluminium. It's the same for both, and it will twist the motor slightly
Yeah.
because it crushes the aluminium.
And to exaggerate that, if that's been going on for a while, you can end up with a bit of torque twist as well.
Exactly.
So the motor's actually moving.
So make sure that that's done for a start point. Also, the mesh, don't necessarily do it on, some people come in and they're like, oh, well, I put a piece of Rizzler between my gears and then pushed it. That's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Literally do it by feeling. And it shouldn't be like a 2 mil gap and it shouldn't be like forced together. But it should be, maybe...
it should have movement.
I don't know, like
but
quarter mil, half a mil, like somewhere around that region. And just a little bit of free play, hold the pinion gear, move the spur around. There should be a little bit of free movement.
And a really important thing on
keep
that,
tweaking it till it's smooth when you rotate the wheels. That's literally, what I do with mine as well.
But a lot of people struggle with meshing pinions when they're new to this hobby, and I did when I started out doing this, because it's a really strange, it's something you have to learn to do. But if ever you're at Seoul RC or anywhere that we are, just ask us to check. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're always happy. If you're not sure, just get us to check.
It takes 2 seconds. Yeah. And also, just before I forget to say, make sure you haven't got an old haggard pinion gear or an old haggard spur gear, because that will not help. And the other reason a chassis might be a bit jumpy is because you haven't shimmed your diffs properly as well, or you've got shafts binding. Everything should be free.
Yeah.
Not loose, but free.
Anything that's overly tight will create noise.
Yeah, exactly.
And wear.
Yeah.
And also make sure you have the right pitch pinion.
Yes.
So I've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with that weird Tamiya.
Yeah, it's a metric pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't.
He also has another question. He's looking to raise his FDR on his FXX for polished concrete and gain some more rear traction. Is there anything I can do to reduce the crabbing effect I get at low speeds? It depends. I don't know what. I can't remember if Jonathan's running a turnbuckle set, but my advice would probably be, if you're starting out on a new surface and you're new to the hobby, go back to the standard settings.
Yeah.
And start from there, because the standard settings work fine.
Is it, what was it, on an S chassis?
Yeah.
So he's got the rear.
I think it's IFS.
Does it come with the ball diff, that one, or is it a spool?
It's a spool.
A ball diff would probably help with that as well.
Probably, for sure. But a
well set up.
If you have switched to the turnbuckle set, I'd probably set them to the same length as standard as the links, and just see how you get on there, and then make a tweak from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, the FDR will help a lot as well, I think. But
also, quite simply, mess with your camber and mess with your toe. Just tweak them slightly. Like one turn of a turnbuckle, like half a turn of a turnbuckle. Adjust your Ackerman, because your Ackerman is going to determine where the kind of maximum bite point of the front end of the chassis is. Because that's just the way it works. You've got a trailing wheel and a lead wheel that do different jobs. But basically, their relationship determines at what point your chassis wants to bite and go forwards, rather than just sit on full lock and crab around the corner,
Okay, we need to move on because we're running out of time. Ronnie's asked for our opinion on the new Overdose Z-Cross chassis, which is the XEX, which Overdose is calling the Z-Cross.
The Z-Cross.
Z-Cross.
Okay. I need to ask Ito where the hell that name came from, because his explanation of the Vacula and the Duval were just insane.
Yeah.
They were so tweaked out. He's a clever dude and he's into some really weird stuff.
I think it's a super cool chassis. I'm really excited for it. I will probably have one.
It's a good concept.
In fact, I think it's out next week,
and it'll be amazing because it's Overdose.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as that. It's one of those. Overdose is a brand that if they put something out, you just have faith in it. It's going to be good. Whether you like it having loads of logos on it or not. When an Overdose part comes out, you ever go, this is going to suck?
Not really.
Not really.
No.
Ever?
Sometimes, but
what? Name one.
What that I think is going to suck, or that I thought was going to suck right away?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of parts that are just made for bling. That are just
but that's different. That's different.
Well,
as far as functionality, it's most of the time. It's
I think the cool thing about the coolest thing about the Z-Cross is the ease that it's going to be to work with in terms of maintenance. They posted a video yesterday or the day before of it's 4 screws to take the back end off.
Do you know what the coolest thing about the Z-Cross is?
What?
At some point, I'm going to be able to buy it all in aluminium.
Yeah. That's going to look amazing.
It's going to look
those top deck braces are going to be insane.
Yeah.
But also the CS gearing looks like it's going to be really easy to change.
Yeah.
I'm hoping all the CS gears are available at launch.
That is really easy to work on.
Yeah.
Like, 4 screws and to take the rear sort of bulkhead off, and you've got the diff out, and you can work on the diff completely separately. Like, it's a really
you can do a shilly and have diff set up different, ready to slot in.
Yeah, in the cans, and he has them color coded.
Yeah,
as well.
I am. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm going to have one. I think I just have to sell this purple monster. That's
the cookie monster.
That's got to go.
If anyone wants to buy an RMX with all of the upgrades, how much is it, Jay?
Bargain cheap that I don't even want to say on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Go to my Facebook page. You can see.
Go to Jay's Facebook page and you'll see. Tell you his wares.
Okay.
What was the question?
The next question is from Tom Hampton. There's been a massive influx of rear-wheel drive drivers, and people saying they're bored of CS, and he wonders why. I personally don't see it as natural progression as you get better, but an easy way to get the visual aspects thereafter, i.e. more counter-steer. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't answer for this. It's a little bit controversial.
Oh, God, here we go.
Right. It boils down to, and you'll agree with me on this, I believe, CS is about technique and your actual driver skill, and rear-wheel drive is about settings and your skill at setting up the chassis. Rear-wheel drive driving is relatively easy, I believe. So if you're a reasonable CS driver, not a good CS driver, but a reasonable CS driver, you can go to rear-wheel drive and you'll do very well if you've got a decent amount of understanding of settings and you're okay at driving. CS is much harder in terms of the driving. Like, your settings don't have to be as good, but the actual in terms of technique,
I disagree very slightly in the sense of it's easy to drive rear-wheel drive. If somebody hands you a well set up rear-wheel drive chassis, anyone who does RC can drive it okay. Yeah. But I think to be really good, like top level rear-wheel drive, is much harder than to be a top level CS driver, because I think the final 10% of skill is much harder to attain.
Yeah, but that also comes from CS high level driving. Once you're at a certain level of CS, that technique is the same. So to get to the point, I think you can be an intermediate CS driver and go to rear-wheel drive and be a good rear-wheel drive driver, because you can just put it all into settings.
I also think
the guys now doing settings. I mean, like Mark Bennett's car, it drives like a CS car. Yeah. It's easy.
I think
it's super good. It's super fun.
That a really important factor to consider with rear-wheel drive is if you're learning as well. If you're relatively new, if you've only been doing this for a year or so or whatever, it's much slower. It gives you more time to think. It gives you more time to position the car, to make corrections, to sort out.
And you can.
So your mental process of learning is
cushion.
It's less full on.
Yeah, it's cushioned.
But
ultimately,
I think it has nothing to do with the ease of driving at all. I think it's just because it's something new. A lot of people are just starting. So if you're also just starting, it's way more fun to practice together because everyone's at the same level. Yeah. And if you step into CS, you go onto a track where there's a bunch of guys that are really, really good. And it sort of demotivates you because you cannot keep up and you think you suck. Basically.
I suppose with that point, if there's a bunch of okay to intermediate rear-wheel drive drivers, it's a more reachable target.
It's also just something new because everyone has been driving CS for a while. The competitions have been the same sort of for a couple of years now. While rear-wheel drive everything is new. Competition, the events, the drivers.
It's new and exciting again.
Even the chassis and the products. I mean, there's not much coming out for CS anymore, but rear-wheel drive is everywhere. CS
just like it's at a plateau, isn't it? It's kind of like, well, CS does this and it's just a constant. But the rear-wheel drive is really
it's still very much developing. Yeah,
I think it's there's something new with it all the time. Whereas CS, it's very hard to stick with something that has an air of monotony. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's the same, but CS is you have to be so disciplined for it. Whereas rear-wheel drive, you just go out and you have fun with it. So it's more appealing, more rewarding. So makes sense.
It seems that everyone is also having more fun with building the chassis still for rear-wheel drive. Yeah. They're experimenting more with rear mount batteries, high mount batteries,
I
creating their own decks and whatever.
I generally find that the rear wheel drive guys, especially that come here, are just more into the hobby. Like, you know,
As
the
a
guy,
whole, yeah.
you know, they love doing the bodies, they love doing the tuning, they love doing the driving, they love doing the settings. They just seem to be like more into it. CS drivers, we have a lot of them that just come down, they just want to hack around and stuff. And there's some guys that put a lot of time in, and
there's a lot of guys that have got very good.
Yeah.
But there's more. There's less. Even though CS has been going longer, there's less high-level CS drivers here than there is high-level rear-wheel drive guys. I think
it used to be the other way around, but now
definitely.
There's
anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
Florian has asked, when's the new MST chassis coming? That'll be the new year. Don't know exactly. It's still in the design
one?
phase. The unnamed chassis, the mid-motor rear-wheel drive.
Okay.
The crawler is available this week.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The CMX
Are we going to
is
get
available.
one and drift it?
We're going to get a couple.
Are we going to drift them?
No.
I'm going to make a drift crawler. That's what's going to happen.
That
I'm probably going to get one of the bodies and put that on a drift chassis.
you know that
for sure.
the track width of the new crawler is about the same as a touring car, so you could use the rear shaft or the rear axle and make a real crawler.
Yeah, man.
4-link kit, everything.
Ah,
It's the same size. It's smaller than most of the other crawlers.
that
It's
is happening.
really interesting.
That is happening. I am making an actual.
I've already put a
crawler.
deck aside to do that, just so you know.
Oh, you dick, man.
I already have the parts waiting to go.
I really
cool.
want to do a 4-link. There's no point to it, but might as well.
Michelle has asked, will
Put your
MST
name-
have a shop at the Worlds 2016 because more people drive MST now? I don't know about MST, but we might. It sort of depends.
Like, seriously, this is waffle time, not tout your business time.
Yeah.
We already plugged you enough.
Did we?
Not
We
really.
plugged him enough.
That's
Well,
true.
Before we turn the camera on.
Yeah. Bob has asked,
Hey, Bob.
will there be a Japan Super Exciting
Michelle.
Tour next year?
Oh, God.
Maybe.
Everyone keeps asking me about super exciting tours.
Maybe.
The problem with the super exciting tour is
It's not very exciting to plan.
I pay for myself. I don't, it's not something I earn a fortune on. Like, I pay for my own ass to go there. And it's pretty expensive doing that every year. So a bunch of other people can have fun too. Like doing something I've seen, I've done it. Like, obviously I want to go back because it's super, super fun. But I can't afford to do that every year.
No.
I can't afford to do that and like pay
Also-
my bills and
Also, like, we...
car insurance and all that
Like,
crap.
I'm desperate to go back, but we can't afford to close the business every year for sure.
That's a
and,
big impact. I mean, every
huge.
time I've gone, Jay has to man the fort as well. And that's kind of,
So what do you want to
What do you
say
mean?
to Bob? Is arrange it yourself and
No.
make a
Or,
super exciting tour? Or?
pay for us.
Yeah, cover
Pay
our
for us.
expenses and we'll go whenever you want.
But speaking of the super exciting tour, just while we're there, anyone who's been on it before and anyone consider going in the future, Mizunaga, who obviously we kind of do that thing together, has now got an apartment that you can go and stay in Japan. So if you want to go and stay in Japan and you want to go and not necessarily have the super exciting tour, but be able to go and drive at Tetsujin and drive at the places in sort of the Aichi area, contact Team Tetsujin, speak to Mizunaga. Speak
He's
to
a
Ando.
very busy man, so be patient.
Yeah, and I'm not in. I'm just speculating here. They might just say no. I've got no idea, but it's worth asking. But speak to Ando and just ask. Ask the question.
I think
The only benefit of having me there is I speak Japanese.
I think the to answer Bob's question as best we can, we'll probably know January or February whether we're going to go next year.
Yeah.
So it's too early for us to know because
I'd
it kind
say
of
it's
depends.
more likely next year than this year because
But-
this year is already now.
Yeah, but we knew quite a while ago we weren't going this year.
Yeah.
But we may not have a 100% final decision until May or so, but we will know whether we think we're going to be going next year.
Next time I go to Japan, I am
Basically,
buying a car.
If everyone
Full size.
buys lots of parts from us, we can afford to go. And so buy your chassis, buy your ESCs, buy your motors. Buy
If any
everything.
shops out there would like to under like $100,000 at a time, like that'd be fine.
Yep.
And then we'll take people to
Yeah.
Japan. In fact, no, we'll bring Japan here.
Yeah. Anyway, next question from Bauka.
Oh, yeah. Jesus,
Big Dutch audience
is it-
today.
yeah,
or what?
this is like the Holland edition.
Yeah, man.
Netherlands.
How do you
in full
decide what's
swing.
the best rebound for your dampers in certain circumstances?
Tijs.
Oh yeah,
Give him the answer that he already knows.
no, he asked me on Facebook yesterday and I didn't reply. So
Oh, really? So reply to him now.
What was the question?
what the best rebound setting is?
There isn't one.
Yeah.
No, it's how. This question is actually how do you decide what the best rebound setting is? And my answer to that would be try lots of different settings and see how it works and get an understanding of what the damper is doing and when you need it to rebound, when you need it to have less rebound, when you need it to have no rebound.
Just start playing with
incidentally,
it.
I'm just going to point out we were somebody quite well known has pointed out that he thinks we're wrong about rebound settings, and I'm just going to point out that he's wrong because he doesn't understand what we're trying to achieve. Anyway, move on.
Yeah. So how you like them apples, bitch? I have no idea what you're talking about. I've not been here, but yeah, my statement stands.
Yeah. So anyway, your answer, Taj.
Yeah, just trial and error. Just start with the extremes, see what the effect is, and then just
Well,
fine tune it.
I was going to say start in the middle. So start
that's
at the central point, and
of course, but
my approach to it, just you might learn something. My approach is you start in the middle, you drive, and you just see what the chassis does. Like obviously, it takes a while to be able to see it, but then just decide whether you want the rear to hang in more or pitch more, and I kind of work that way.
Before you know how to change that, you need to know the effect.
Yeah. So
you need to know what
you go central, completely one way, completely the other way.
Yeah.
And work
see
out
what the
exactly
difference
what it
is.
does.
So yeah, exactly.
Do you do each axle independently, or do you do everything together? So you'll do full rebound on the whole thing,
I think
zero rebound.
I think that's part of the trial and error thing.
Yeah, I think I would try both axles at the same time at first, but for sure, just
and then
mix around.
Then have one no rebound and one full.
Yeah, so you can see what the effect is.
I mean, personally, for me, my starting point, if I go to a new surface, new track that I've never driven before, my starting point is full rebound front, half rebound rear.
Yeah,
that's just where I go.
I'm
I generally
kind of half front, like a quarter rear. That's kind of where I start. But it's interesting because effectively we've all said the same thing. We just go about it slightly differently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The next question is from Bart for Tijs. Is your barber dead?
Is your barber
My
dead?
barber? No. Why would my barber be dead? I have a fresh haircut. Then
I think barber he was referring to your beard rather than your hair.
yeah, he's the one to talk. He also has a big beard.
Maybe he's saying you need to get it, shaped.
Yeah,
Anyway, you got some shaping going on. Is that natural, the way it points like that?
Almost.
Really?
Almost. Yeah.
Did you
Almost.
trim a bit?
Yes.
Do you have to brush it?
No.
You haven't started brushing yet?
No.
Oh, you've got to do it, man. It feels really nice.
Anyway,
all your beards. And
last question.
No,
so we can
man.
move
We're
on.
talking beards. And like you brush it and then you can moisturize it.
Yeah. I know.
Sorry.
I know.
Perry's asked for Tijs and the boys, when will they be making the move to slip wheel? I think maybe today if they turn up.
Yeah, exactly. Just come by and have a chat.
Bring him a hat and stuff. He likes hats. In fact, we've got. You don't wear hats, do you?
Just leave that out. Let's move on. We've already talked about this. We've already talked about this, and
Can I
there's
see?
stuff you don't know.
Can I just see you in a flat hat?
No.
I would love to see
Not right now.
like if I had to imagine what awkward looked like, it would look like you in a flat hat.
I think you're wrong, but okay.
I can't wear
anyway.
them either. I've got a massive head and it just doesn't work.
We're kind of done, and we kind of need to move on.
There's no more questions.
There's no more questions. We've done all the questions.
I was kind of getting into that.
I don't think there is anyway.
Why do we need to be done?
I suppose I
mean,
should
we
check one thing because
It's only 12:10. We can sit here and
I
talk
see a blue light
bullshit
blinking.
for hours. A blue light blinking.
let's just check that we're not.
Oh, people are watching. That's all.
Oh, that's
Is
weird.
that what that means?
Yeah, everyone is watching. No, that means that there's a Facebook notification.
Ah.
So anyway, let's wrap this up and let's do some driving.
Do some fixing first.
Yeah, we do some fixing of Tijs' chassis because
It's broken.
he broke it. And,
So
I'm not going to say we'll be back next week because I think I said that in the last one. That was a big lie.
yeah, maybe. But basically, it's Christmas and everything. Like, pretty much soon. So I don't know.
We'll be announcing our Christmas hours fairly soon.
We might do a waffle time where we just buy each other gifts that have got nothing to do with RC, and then we'll spend an hour just exchanging gifts.
I'll accept gifts.
It'd be like Jay, is allergic to peanuts, so clearly I'll buy him a bag of peanuts for Christmas, and a Snickers bar, and just some peanut brittle, a bag of Brazil nuts, and we'll just do this for an hour. He'll just, I don't know.
That's fine. I'll just throw them all back at you and then give you your gift.
That is a show. That is a show. What's my gift? Has it got 4 bumps on it? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
we
so
we
let's
may
wrap
be
this up.
back.
We'll be back at some point. We'll probably do another one before Christmas. We might even do one because we're going to be open at some point between Christmas and New Year. So we might even do a waffle time with people on track and do something cool like that if people want us to do that.
I think we should do a waffle time when there's a bunch of people in here and just drag random people on the camera.
Yeah, definitely.
Until someone
It's good fun.
swears
It's
or
good
says
fun.
something really horrendous.
It's good. It was good fun when the Norwegian guys were here and they were super awkward and I didn't want to be on camera.
He's fine on camera. He's done it all before.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, for anyone.
I'm on the other side now.
I was going to say, for anyone that hasn't seen them, you should watch the Wreck It Sideways, Wreck 'Em All series.
what do you want to plug? You're here. You've got an audience. Like, tell them what do you want them to see? What do you want them to look at? Shapeways.puntanl.com. Shapeways.com. That's how it works. You can annoy him there. Tijs is from Team Wreck It Sideways, TWS, so you can annoy them on Facebook.
Yes.
And you can annoy Tijs personally on Facebook. And you can also get them on YouTube and look at the YouTube channel where Tijs is the presenter of the most awkward show in the world, which makes it hilarious.
I will just point out that's Wise Studios on YouTube, not
Wise Studios.
Yes, it's
Sparkers.
but if you
channel,
but if you look for Wreck It Sideways, you're gonna find it.
You'll find it.
What's it called?
Wreck 'Em All.
Wreck 'Em All.
Yeah.
I think
You can find it on Facebook.
I think one really important thing is you should definitely go and like the Facebook page, because actually Facebook kind of hides stuff from you. And you have to try and make, you need to add it to notifications or add it to a list or something for Facebook to even show you the goodies. Like I've seen all the Wreck 'Em All videos, but I never see them
on Facebook,
via Facebook. I see them because I'm subscribed to Bauker's channel.
Or you see them because someone shares them from a personal page, not from the...
Even then, I rarely see them.
Yeah. I know we get.
But then I generally watch them quite early because I watch a lot of YouTube, so I tend to see it fairly early. But anyway, so yeah, get subscribed. If you haven't already subscribed to us too, that's probably helpful.
Yeah, you should probably do it. Just like and favorite this shit
God.
and their shit.
Yeah.
And become receding today.
We'll be back at some point
You're
soon.
hiding it well, so yeah.
It's there.
If anybody has a specific request for tutorial videos or any of that stuff, let us know, and we'll either put it in a waffle time or try and get around to doing a video maybe over the Christmas period or something. Would be helpful,
I guess.
But so anyway, we'll be back soon. I'm going to just end this now. Bye.
Hamakavula.